Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, July 18th, and we are still struggling to get victories on the European account. I need to go back to the Asian account and see if the Tavern Brawl had already started there and I missed it. And then we also need to do the Americas account, whatever's... I haven't even looked at that. So I want to play Murloc Paladin again. I want to play on casual, and I want to get a quick victory. I want to get through all the news, and I want to wrap this up in about an hour. So, Eurogamer has an article, Mario Tennis Aces has updated, and in that update, there is a nerf that nerfs the Bowser Jr. character following complaints. So, I've heard reviews of Mario Tennis Aces and how it is this non-tennis simulation game that's more of a combo meter build game. It kind of sounds like it's an expansion on how Punch-Out was really not as much a boxing game as it was a pattern recognition game. So I'm very potentially might like how Mario Tennis works, but I've also heard from the reviews that the single player experience isn't really the important part of it. So if I were just to play the single player experience, I probably wouldn't get enough out of it. Let's see. Next we have a Gamma Sutra blog, Shadowhand Postmortem Top 10 Takeaways. I believe this is from the person who made Shadowhand. I don't know, frankly, why you would call it a postmortem, since Shadowhand isn't very old. It's hardly a dead game. It's just outside of that first 6 weeks of sales, I imagine. The developer of Shadowhand is the same developer that made Regency Solitaire. So, first takeaway is pitching, second takeaway is budgeting, third is scheduling, fourth is scope. I think a lot of times in video games, particularly, they either go way too high in scope or they go too low in scope, or they go low in scope and don't have any polish on it. 5 is publisher, 6 is testing, 7 is PR. So apparently finding a publisher is more important than having your game run, according to this list. 7 is PR and marketing, 8 is launch, and 9 is sustaining post-launch momentum, and 10 is customer support. So yeah, that's not really an article that anybody needs to read unless you're planning on developing and releasing a video game now. We have a game on Steam called Acham, A-C-H-A-E-M. It says it's an early access action indie casual RPG. It seems like they're saying it's a roguelike with an infinite destructible world, customizable character, insane combat, and progression system. It seems very voxel based, that you're running around jumping and attacking things, and when you get to the edge of the screen, it seems like the screen just automatically generates a new section, and it is a rather fast-paced game, but because it's on an overworld, a surface of a planet, instead of being in a cave, it also feels very much just randomly generated.
Hey, catch!
Let's see.
Happy Midsummer Fire Festival.
Let's
Move quickly.
Job done.
the fireworks. How do I do the fireworks?
Justice demands retribution. By the holy light.
Ah, that's you do the wow to get the see. And I spent all this time in the last recording playing the Tavern Brawl to get a top tier firework thing, and it's just gonna be gone, and like it was before. So I don't think I'm gonna even bother to do that next time. Ah, here's the Gamma Sutra article that I wish I had seen a while back. The back catalog of games for Ubisoft continue to drive growth as quarter one sales hit $466 million. Unfortunately, there isn't a breakdown. I was hoping there was a breakdown that said which of the back catalog games had given them so much extra income. Let's play this.
The battle.
And
That's not a valid target.
let's see. Gonna have to kill some things. So we'll do this, and then we'll play this.
The battle.
I was too short. I very possibly could have won there. We've got a game on Steam called Gotcha Racing Second. Gotcha being the little collectibles that come in toy dispensers in Japan. So you're racing, you're getting gold. I don't think there's actual microtransactions in this game, but it's $9.99 with 29 Steam achievements. Graphics look a little flat, similar to something you might expect from a mobile game or just a kind of poorly animated game. And it seems like you really are controlling the cars and doing the racing. It's single player and local multiplayer. It doesn't look terrible. So I'm gonna wishlist this and keep an eye on it. It's from Arc System Works, so you know that publisher. Wait, am I thinking of a different publisher? According to this, Arc System Works has only released one other game called Of Mice and Sand.
The victory is yours.
Anyways, like I said, I'll keep an eye on Gotcha Racing and see how it is. We've got yet another Vicky Spotter game, which is the Find the Difference kids game that gets released relatively on a fair amount. So we're done with the European. Let's go back to the Asian for a second. Hop in here. I don't think there really is anything wrong with the Vicky Spotter games other than they're expensive, and well, this one is actually free, so you can't really complain about that, can you? But they are pretty short. In a weird way, they might be a good achievement game if you're willing to play kids games. Yeah, other Vicky Spotter game I see is $2, $2, $2. So the price isn't bad. They don't flood Steam with it. I'm gonna come over here. Let's see. Take this and copy this Murloc Paladin deck. Apparently I did totally miss that this is happening. And then I'm just going to take that deck as it is. And we're just going to play, and we're just going to play once. Because I don't care about the fireworks. So yeah, Vicky Spotter camping free, totally makes sense to grab that if you are having kids play games on your PC. Let's see. Eurogamer has an article, does bad archaeology make for the best games? X never marks the spot. Of course, when you see archaeology, what you're really seeing in most games is something like Tomb Raider. One would assume pretty much the old Tomb Raider games, or something similar to that, where there's inherently this idea that you're in a fantastical place full of secret traps and gameplay elements that actually don't exist. Let's see. I'm just gonna wait a turn. And yeah, this feels like this is a Eurogamer article that doesn't really even need to be read, because it's bringing up a kind of pointless argument. It's like, yeah, the fictitious archaeology in a fictitious game is not accurate. Who would have guessed? We've got a game on Steam called Time Cluster, which seems to be a stand in one place shooter game. Well, let's see. It says, here's the description. This seems like this is an asset thing. Protect the past, save the future. Time Cluster is a first-person VR shooter. In each mission, you're sent back in time to protect villagers in a medieval town where the Order of the Grand Euclideans, or it's not Euclideans, it's Eulidians, is born. In the future, they govern over the known galaxy. An alien race is bent on preventing the creation. And then looking at the graphics, it is just the most this is an asset flip, obviously, looking collection of random things that are futuristic and medieval. This is, we went shopping on the medieval asset, on the Unity Asset Store. Time Cluster wants a ridiculous $13.99 for their game. I don't need to keep an eye on it because it's VR. I don't need to keep an eye on it because it's not a good game. Most VR games, not a good game. This one in particular, not good. So I am just trying to win right now. I don't want to really feed Ragnos. Gematsu has an article. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 DLC character Kefla has been announced. She looks like a female Saiyan, so I don't know where she comes from it. But this is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which is available now for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's not Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which is kind of interesting. Let's see. So let's see what the rating is for Xenoverse 2. It's mostly positive at 77% over its lifetime. It came out October 27, 2016. Looking forward to the fireworks.
I don't need any of you. Job done.
Let's see. An argument might be made that as a single player, I'd want to play Dragon Ball Xenoverse over the over Dragon Ball Fighter Z. But honestly, I think everybody is better suited just playing Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and it's odd that there's two games that I assume are being developed by different companies, but both being published by Bandai Namco. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Arc System works. I need to mute this guy.
Your magic shall not save you.
I'll play when I'm good and ready, guy. Not a second early. Yeah. In comparison, Dragon Ball Fighter Z is very positive at 81%, and it came out January 26th, 2018. Yeah. Odd that there's two competing Dragon Ball games. Not super odd, however. Because that is certainly something I would believe Bandai Namco would be willing to do. Let's see. Might as well play Redemption.
Reporting for duty.
Gamasutra has an article. App Store and Google Play spending hit $34.4 billion during the first half of 2018. So if you bought anything on the App Store during that time, you're part of the problem. But I think that's spending in general, not broken out. Combined mobile game revenue, I think is still, yeah, still kind of a question. Like the App Store mobile game revenue was $16.3 billion for the first 2 quarters of 2018. Yeah. These Gamasutra industry insider number things never interest me enough to really care. Moving on, Gematsu has an article. Digimon Survive has been announced for the PS4 and Switch, which is nice because there was a Digimon game and then it turned out to just be a mobile game, and I kind of wanted to see a regular Digimon game come out. However, it's still not coming out for PC, so unless I was going to get a Switch and play it on that, or get a PS4 and play it on that, I guess arguably I should get a PS4 before I get a Switch. There'd be more variety targeted towards me. There's a scan here showing Digimon Survive. It shows very little what it is, but it looks like it's probably going to be a top-down RPG, JRPG type game. Gamasutra has an article. Get a Job. ZeniMax Online Studios is looking for a mobile backend engineer. This would be a job listed in Hunt Valley, Maryland. Not a lot of jobs listed in Maryland, certainly.
Reporting for duty.
Let's see. Your Gamer has an article. The Game Accessibility Conference arrives in Paris this October. Quote, so no player is unnecessarily excluded from everything the game has to offer. I think particularly in video games where you can toggle options and stuff, accessibility is a great realm in which you can play and add accessibility and help people. Compared to, say, a colorblind person who wants to go watch movies, having the theater air a special airing for colorblind people would be kind of ridiculous, or having somebody signing in front of a movie screen because someone is completely deaf is kind of ridiculous, or having subtitles in front of in a movie theater is sort of ridiculous. We certainly are close to the point though where we could give somebody a pair of augmented reality glasses and them see subtitles. That we're not too far away from that being a reality. And so this might have been in relation to the video that I saw talking about subtitles. And honestly, I would much prefer the video game industry to get together on conferences like this and deal with people with disabilities than get together and have conferences where they just group think about how toxic their player base is and how they need to get all those Nazis playing their games to stop being Nazis while still selling the games to them. And I'm using Nazis as a quote-unquote word. By the way, I have never been demonetized. Well, I guess I wouldn't know because I'm already demonetized. Never mind. Forget what I was about to say. I was about to say, you know, I've never gotten a flag or anything on any of my videos for anything I've said during these live streams. But then I realized, you know what? They're not even scanning them, so of course I'm not getting a flag. So in my poverty, I guess I am capable of having more free speech than people who have to censor themselves to try to be advertiser friendly on YouTube. Nothing else really to say there. Yay, accessibility to a certain point. I do kind of question though if way down the line they might go a little too crazy with it, but we're nowhere close to that being an issue. So I'm certainly letting fine for them to try things. If they got together and had some standards, that would be great. Certainly, at the very least. If you saw the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox and the Switch all get together and say, all games must have subtitles, all games must put the subtitles in the audio settings, and not somewhere else, all the subtitles must be in this way. All games must have color blindness modes. That would be great. You almost would like to see Steam demand the same thing. But that probably would never happen.
Reporting for duty.
We've got a game on Steam called Bad Day. It looks like a pixel art top-down shooter, twin-stick shooter game. It seems to me like it is extremely slow in its gameplay, and that this just lacks polish, almost as if this was a game programmed from scratch with no engine that they used. It's 15% off for $1.69, and I just don't see anything here visually that interests me, and I don't see anything gameplay-wise that interests me. A lot of tones of grays. Yeah, nothing interesting there. Rock Paper Shotgun has an article. The strategy card game Terraria has gone free to play, and well, it was free to play with microtransactions. And it's now changed its mind and gone to just buy the thing. So it's a buy the play game. Which probably means that there's not going to be any more support or cards added to Terraria. I know Criterion had some sponsored ads for Terraria. I think I may have even done a quick spotlight on it and tried it out. And I really didn't like it. So, like, I tried it out, thought, heck, this is kind of a little pretty, but it's got a completely different hex grid based style of placement of the cards, which then drastically changes what you're doing, and it stops making it a collectible card game and makes it something different. So we're keeping the gold on the Asian accounts. So we'll get new cards. Let's now switch over for the first time to the Americas account. So yeah, you can buy Ferraria for $25 now. It's rated very positively at 82% overall, but I think these ratings are going to go down rather fast when people are spending $25 and there's DLC. Let's see, we need to roll this, and I'm gonna have to win 5 games in any mode, and 3 of which, hey, and we have a friend request. I didn't check any of my other friend requests, so apologies if somebody had sent me a friend request recently. No legendaries. And that's probably all just gonna get dusted. I suppose for safety's sake, it might be a smart move to get all of the... Interesting, I have 3,000 dust in my European account and only 2,000 on my main account. I think I may have spent some dust, and that's the reason. So yeah, for safety's sake, I'm just going to try and play this. I just need victories, which means I can take my most winning deck, which is this HS Replay Spiteful Priest, copy that, do that, come over here. This is still a lot of clicks. Yeah, I cannot recommend anybody play Ferraria. It's probably a dead game at this point. They've gotten their money and they're either moving over to something else or they're just taking the money and running. And let's brawl. Next game we have on Steam is called Glitch. It's tagged as free-to-play indie casual strategy adventure. We are suffering from a dark trailer, dark screenshot syndrome. Don't you hate it when you are casually walking through a forest and you fall 60 feet into a mysterious world? Well, that's what goes down, and now you must find a way up. And this looks like it's a WASD controlled wander around what are probably asset flip halls.
The light shall bring victory.
It's free to play, I guess, and it has only one achievement. Let's see. It says Glitch is a 6-part indie game. Each part includes puzzles, mazes, and cutscenes and mysteries to solve. 1 minute you'll be walking through an abandoned hall. Next you'll be chased by monsters and vents. So it's a free game that's a collection of just mini games. The review I see is not recommended. There isn't much I can say about this game. It takes me a bunch of time to actually click on anything, and sometimes when I click, when I'm clicking on something I wasn't even looking at, the entire thing feels like a Bendy and the Ink Machine wannabe. Like seriously, the entire plotline is an escape where the heck you are, and you have to press buttons to do that. It's just Bendy and the Ink Machine if you turn the Ink Machine. If you turn on the Ink Machine.
Is someone injured?
Job's done.
I have to go pressing all the buttons to escape the studio. Maybe fix button pressing and I'll give it another try. Then I have another not recommended review and another not reviewed it says I'm having issue pressing the buttons, and then not recommended says bad, don't play, and then not recommended, and then not recommended. So the reviews for this free-to-play game are already in with 40% of 10 users rating it positively. So yeah, don't play Glitch. Also, just in general, don't name your game Glitch. That's not a great name.
Thank you.
That's just not a good game to name your game. Let's see. Gamma Sutra has an article. Tencent awarded $2.9 million in the case against the developer of an alleged League of Legends clone. Tencent has been awarded 19.4 Chinese yuan, or approximately 2.4 million US dollars, in a lawsuit filed against Mobile Legends developer Moontron. According to Dot Esports, the suit itself was filed by Tencent in China after its subsidiary and League of Legends developer Riot Games' initial case filed in California against Moontron was dismissed. So they were trying to get a judgment in the United States. The United States dismissed the case for one reason or the other, maybe on good grounds, maybe not. And then Tencent, which is, I always say, and I'm fairly certain it's true, is owned by the Chinese government, files a suit, and surprise, the Chinese government sided with Tencent. Generally speaking, I think the Chinese government would side with the Chinese company against the bigger Chinese company that they control against anybody else, even other Chinese companies. But to be fair, I haven't heard of this or done any research. So maybe Moontron is a Let's see, the Chinese Redux instead was filed over non-disclosure, non-compete issues, and notes DOT Esports. I wonder. The original California suit accused willful and bad faith infringement of Riot Games' League of Legends back in 2017. Prior to its dismissal, the suit claimed that Moontron had essentially earned hundreds of thousands by riding on the backs of League of Legends, and sought to block Moontron from infringing on Riot's IP in the future, as well as damages. So the thing to do here, I guess, is search Moontron and see if I can see some images of what this game looks like.
Medicine insects.
Let's see. How much of a League of Legends game does it have to be a clone of, frankly? Though. Because this is like a mobile game that kind of looks like League of Legends, but Dota is kind of a League of Legends, and so I don't know. Like, I don't know how to really judge this fairly.
Beware the shadow.
Yeah. Is Riot trying to make the argument that they own the copyright of top-down, hero-based strategy games? I don't think that's the case here. I think, frankly, as much as I hate Tencent, or have a bias against them, at least I don't really hate them, I think in this case, they had a real court suit, because it feels very much like Tencent worked with this company and they stole some IP or some code or something. Moving on, Gematsu has Saga Scarlet Grace for PS4, Switch, and PC, and smartphones. Second trailer, so I want to see this. Saga Scarlet Grace is the first Square Enix game to be released on Steam in Japanese only. I'm questioning, is that because they have no confidence it would sell in the West, or is it because they don't want to have the appearance that it is being marketed to the West? It could be that they sneak in an English language translation later on.
Magic shall not save you. Thank you.
Is someone injured?
Thank you.
Let's see. Like, the characters in animation for Saga aren't the greatest 3D models ever, because they're like targeting mobile phones. So one would have hoped that in the trailers they were showing off better graphics from like the PS4 version, but it doesn't seem like they really are. So maybe the PS4 version and the PC versions are all going to look bad. That could certainly explain why it's not coming out in English. It feels like a game that almost immediately needs it feels like it immediately needs a new remaster to the game.
Done. Me.
Let's go and squelch this guy too while we're at it. In this Gematsu article, it does say an English version is also planned, but is yet to be dated, so the stories are kind of conflicting. Yes, this may be the first game by Square Enix to be put on Steam in Japanese only, but it seems like they've already got plans of some sort for an English update or English release. Moving on, we have a Gematsu article data list. That's DAEDALUS. The Awakening of Golden Jazz launches for the PS4, Switch, and PC in 2018 in Japan. This is a game I haven't heard of before. It's some kind of visual novel, but the one screenshot shows an old man that kind of looks like Santa Claus, like a skinny Santa Claus. He's not dressed up like Santa Claus, though. How did I kill 208 mini Ragnaroks? Are they just merging all the kills between each account? I guess that is the case. So we're just getting the number higher and higher. Interesting. That would be really cool if Hearthstone started doing that for a lot of things, where they merge the Americas, the European, and the Asian accounts totally. I don't have any desire to have different cards in different accounts. I don't desire to be at different ranks. I don't desire any of that. So just separate us, merge it all together. And see, I've already got the fire thing. Apparently this game, Daedalus and the Awakening of a Golden Jazz, is part of the Jake Hunter detective series.
Was a mistake.
Is someone injured?
Let's see, we've got a game on Steam in early access called Apex Hunters. Early access action indie dinosaurs co-op. It seems like we're back into a dinosaur fad as far as asset flip games. That's all this really is, so I'll leave it at that. It's 10% off for $13.49. I really don't think there's gonna be a new round of people silly enough to fall for asset flip games like they used to.
Right away.
Job done.
Let's see. I'm trying to win right now. I have to remember that. Gematsu has an article. Archipile? That's ARCHIPL.
Let the
Quote,
pain speak to me.
Shigenori Shojima and Catherine Full Body spotlight video. So I know Catherine Full Body, so I don't know what the if this is 2 games that they have a video for or what. A portrait of the Atlas character designer and illustrator. So this is a YouTube channel that spotlights illustrators. Okay, they have a 16-minute long video here spotlighting the animator that you might be interested in watching. It's subtitled in English, but I imagine it's speaking in Japanese. That's sort of video game related, but it's a little more artsy than focused. I imagine if you are an artist, there is a plethora of Twitch streamers and YouTube video streamers out there of artists who just listen to music and show off themselves animating, or at least there's more to learn, I think, probably on Twitch and YouTube than there is in those how to draw books that get sold in bookstores. Those things, for the most part, seem like they're not detailed enough and kind of rip-offs. Like, it takes more than 5 steps to learn the basic concepts of being able to draw the right way. I wanted to mention this Your Gamer article. It's not super news, but the controversial and kind of amazing game Dante's Inferno is now backwards compatible on the Xbox One, which I assume at this point, if I was to get an Xbox One and put every single Xbox 360 game I have in it, I'm not sure that there's more than maybe 4 or 5 that wouldn't be backwards compatible. The other game that's now backwards compatible is RUSE.
Meddlesome insects.
I kind of almost recommend people play Dante's Inferno if you can get a used Xbox 360 copy very cheap, and you know it's not the greatest game in the world, and you know it's going to end on a cliffhanger that's never going to be finished. It has some cutscenes and cinematics. It's also very adult and mature, so take that as a warning also. Maybe you just go look at all the cutscenes on YouTube too. You're not missing out on a ton if you don't play the gameplay. In fact, they even took Dante's Inferno and made a anime version of it that I think is probably worse than the game, is what I've heard. Moving on, Gematsu has an article. Pixel Game Maker MV launches on Steam Early Access July 24th. Why the Game Maker itself is on Steam, I don't know. I kind of feel like it shouldn't be allowed on Steam because this is just encouraging more people to make terrible Steam games. Like, honestly, if Steam were to ban one game, one piece of software, all the Game Maker software would be the one to ban. Stop encouraging or showing people how to make bad, low-effort games. I believe the MV, Pixel Game Maker MV, is a side-scrolling kind of platforming-esque engine instead of RPG Maker. And I'm not even sure that this is the same company that made RPG Maker, honestly. I guess if there's only really one software to get rid of RPG Maker.
So many possibilities.
We have a game on Steam called Vampirina's Nails. It's a indie casual simulation game according to the tags. You're playing as a vampire who is painting her fingernails. And just a bunch of, you can select the color, you can select some stickers, and you can drag your mouse. And that's all there is to it. It's 40% off for 59 cents. Looks like it might even have microtransactions in it. This is totally going towards little girls, and it's one of these arguably sexist games. It looks like a mobile port. It's just literally doing nothing else. Little boys can play games where they're superheroes, but little girls are expected to just paint their nails, which arguably you're painting your nails to attract who? Yeah, there's some logical arguments that can be played there. So, extremely low effort game from a developer who's made several other extremely low effort games that nobody's ever reviewed. We don't get too many of those on Steam though. We get a lot of extremely low effort games, but we don't get too many that are just the blatantly almost Elsa-Gate-ish style games that are just designed to attract people to click on them, the little kids to click on them at random.
Beware the shadow.
Next game we have on Steam is called Snail Racer Extreme. It neither looks extreme nor does it look good. It looks like MS Paint graphics. It has 9 achievements. It's 33% off for 66 cents. Yeah, nothing to say there. Next game we have on Steam is called Splash Blast Panic. We haven't had a lot of good games on Steam. This one looks like it's a bit fast-paced and animated a little well, but it's one of these 4-player co-op games that we've seen before, where it's basically Smash Bros with 4 players, and that's all there is to it. Let's see, it has a demo and it's coming soon, so it's not even out yet. So it can show me all this fancy trailers all at once, but it's not even out, so nobody can verify what kind of, how it actually runs. Regardless, it's the same idea. It doesn't seem like they're doing too much different. There might be a couple of ideas added to this, but not enough to compete against Smash Brothers or Slap City or several of the other people who have tried it. A fan-made project called Indiana Jones Fate of Atlantis Special Edition has been in the works for several years, and I've on and off seen them. They tweeted that they have the demo 2.0, that it is out. However, you must have had to either kickstart it or something, because I cannot find on their website, which is nothing other than a blogger website. I can't find a download link. I can't find anything like that. On the side of their Twitter account, the same, it says something along the lines of this. No, it's on the blogger site, that this is a fan-made project that will be released once it gets permission from Disney now, and yeah, it says this project is considered an unofficial non-profit fan project until approved by LucasArts Disney. Let's see. And then it says Demo 2.0 is finished. We would like to achieve one of the following of these business options. 1. Get permission to create a crowdfunding campaign to improve the interests of the project. Or get hired by Lucasfilm and create the game internally to keep it the license in the house. Or 3. Obtain a temporary indie license to be able to finish the project. So yeah, this really is nothing. I'm not even sure remastering the Indiana Jones Fate of Atlantis game is what you want to do, when you probably at this point should full on remake it and make some more Indiana Jones games while you're doing it. Disney has failed so far to do anything with the Indiana Jones series, although they are working on a new Indiana Jones movie. They're, I believe, in pre-production for an Indiana Jones movie. But they're also probably going to slightly slow down and think things through, since Star Wars isn't just a super easy cash cow that I think they thought it would be. Did I talk about Groove Coaster already? I think I did, but Groove Coaster is on Steam. It's a music-based Line Rider-esque game. It's rated mostly positive here. I'm gonna wishlist it, but I'm so tone deaf as far as music, I don't think I'd ever actually play it. Trying to win here, and the game is not really cooperating very well. PC Gamer has an article, Wayward Souls is a 16-bit roguelike with a story to tell. I think I've already talked about this article. Man, did I just leave some pages open from Monday? Wayward Souls looks like a top-down twin-stick shooter. It might be good, it might be bad. It's got pixel graphics though, and from the look of it, it just doesn't look super interesting. Let's do this. Rush. And kill that.
Shadow.
And attack that.
Is someone injured?
And then the turn. We've got Clicker Heroes 2 in early access and on Steam. It's very positive. 80% of 270 users reviewed are positive. The thing about Clicker Heroes, from what I heard, is it doesn't seem like it keeps your progress going when you close the game. But in exchange for that, it's a real game and no longer so much a clicker. It has some weird permadeath option. They decided not to put any microtransactions in it. It seems like it has a pretty big skill tree. It doesn't really feel like you're buying other heroes to help you out, even. In a weird way, it's probably just taking the animation of the characters we've seen in Clicker Heroes 1, which is a game I did play quite a bit and did a spotlight on. Let's see.
Right away.
Medicine insects.
Yeah, Clicker Heroes does not look like a clicker game at all. Maybe you are clicking on the screen and that affects something, but there seems to be only really one hero. Clicker Heroes is asking for a really high price though, $29.99, and that's kind of it. It says it features are unlimited progress, skills, worlds, automator, customize the automator to play the game for you while you're away, automatically level up your gear, build new gear. It's kind of almost like a Borderlands-esque gear loot-based thing. First review says, and not worth $30, $15 maybe, just wait for a sale in like 2 months. Which I think is probably fair. So I will wishlist Clicker Heroes, but I would kind of warn against anybody gifting me Clicker Heroes 2 unless you really want to see it. Because that does seem like that is a really high price that they're asking for a game that has Clicker in the name, even if it actually isn't a Clicker game.
The light purges.
Now we've got Die Insect and Live Insect fighting each other. What a combination. We have a game on Steam called Wizard Hunter 2348. Looks like a top-down shooter with low quality graphics. And not much of a menu, doesn't catch my eye. It's $4.99. Yeah, nothing here that looks good enough to make me even want to have to wishlist it. Gematsu has an article. Palladius announces its Gamescom 2018 lineup. The full lineup will be a game called Away Journey of the Unexpected for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. One called Chronic, like CHRONIRIC, Chronic, for iOS and Android. And let's play this. And the next game is the Dungeon of Nalabek, the Amulet of Chaos for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Next game is called Edge of Eternity for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. One for a game called Hover for the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. One called Old School Musical for the Switch and PC. One called Spike Chris for the iOS and Android, and one called Stay for iOS and Android. So that is a collection of games. None of the names that I've heard. None of them were talked about on E3. And see, Gamescom is going to come out, and you're going to definitely hear about some different games that are going to potentially flood the market when they actually are released. It might also be that Gladius's games are not particularly relevant games, so half of those, like the cell phone games, probably don't matter at all to most people, and the others may not matter at all either. What looks like a visual novel, story-driven puzzle game called Will a Wonderful World is coming to Switch in 2018, according to Gematsu. So I need one more Tavern Brawl, and then I could go win some other kind of victories in like ranked or casual or something. Well, I'd much more prefer to play a game like Will a Wonderful World versus playing a visual novel, even if the aesthetics are the same and the story is basically the same. If you're just building it around puzzles
Shall bring victory.
that has ever so slightly more story. This is one of those horror-esque branching stories lines. Arguably, I'd probably want to play the Nunnery games first, that series. Nunnery games, however you pronounce it. But yeah. This is interesting. Unfortunately, did they say it's coming to the Switch? It was first released on Steam in June, however, so it's already out in June. And it's overwhelmingly positive in its lifetime, with 95% of the people saying it's positive. And on Steam it is tagged as a visual novel, so I'm gonna wishlist it and I hope I don't unwishlist it at some point in the future, thinking it's just a random visual novel. Let's see. Next we have a minimalist experimental game called Hyper Zen Training. It seems like you're just wandering around in different areas, and with every footstep or with different angles, areas seem to get colored in or blacked out. It almost feels like a just glitchy game over actually having a gameplay mechanic. You're in this 3D puzzle world, you're shooting different things, or things are being shot at you, flying little triangles and spheres and such. It's 15% off for $1.69, and it doesn't have enough graphics polish on it to really catch my attention. That's...
Is someone injured?
Like, if you had the same game with some Unity assets in it, frankly, you'd catch my attention twice as much as doing bland, basic squares and circles. At least I would have to look at the game for a little bit longer. Okay, we have a game on Steam called RC Simulation 2.0. It's 62% positive, over 164 users. I probably would have wishlisted this game if it wasn't already at mixed reviews. It's 20% off for $11.99. It looks pretty well animated, so what are people upset about?
Must consider.
Here's a not recommended. It says, I feel with time this game will develop into a fun arcade style RC raider. However, if you're after a simulator to practice RC skills, stick with VRC Pro. The physics in these games are not realistic yet. Here's another not recommended review that says, current state of the game has awful physics, simulation, mediocre graphics. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and close RC Simulator 2.0, maybe RC Simulation 3.0 is the one that might catch somebody's attention. And we have an early access game called Furious Seas on Steam that is early access action indie VR and pirates. They want, it's 10% off for $17.99, and it's a VR game where you're on a pirate ship and you're shooting other pirate things. Graphics actually look relatively decent, although the character models are repetitive and the crewmen are all clones of each other. I don't know what adding this to VR though does. Like, I have no idea why this is a VR game. This feels a lot like it's just trying to clone Sea of Thieves, and it might even be doing a better job in some small parts with Sea of Thieves. It even has a name that evokes that same thought, but Sea of Thieves failed, the Year of the Pirate has failed. I wonder how many years that have these themes end up having them all fail. It's a VR game, so I don't have to worry about it, but I think in general, for $18 you probably wouldn't want to play it even if you did have VR. And at that point, I am at the Humble Bundle store, and I believe there might even be a bundle of games. there's an Up Your Game bundle of software, which includes several programs that I can't really. They seem like streamer programs and VPN programs and things like that, not actual video games. And then there is the Humble Bundle monthly thing that they're still promoting. Here's a games bundle, finally. I was really starting to think that they were just giving up on the games bundles. It'd been a while. So this CI Games, Humble CI Games bundle includes Sniper Ghost Warrior Gold Edition, Chronicles of Mystery, The Scorpio Ritual, and Combat Wings Battle of Britain for $1. If you pay more than the average of $7.77, you get Lords of the Fallen Game of the Year Edition. By the way, all of the microtransactions and an update of Shadow of War has been patched out, which take that for whatever it is. I guess now would be the time to play it, and certainly if I ever get around to playing Shadow of War, which I have a chance of doing, I'm going to have a very different review and experience now that all of the microtransactions and terrible things have been patched and the game has been fixed. That's probably the case for several of the games I've covered, frankly. And it's really just evidence that people should wait.
Is someone injured?
And not buy games within the first 6 months to a year. You can get Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 Collector's Edition and Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 World Hunter Pack, also for the above the average of $7.77. And then if you pay $15, you get Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 and Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 Multiplayer Pack. I don't know what the Sniper Ghost Warrior series is, but it doesn't particularly interest me, and none of these games really do. Is there another games bundle? Nope, we're not that lucky. So that leaves my news done. I forgot to turn on Nightbot with its music requests. I've got another Star Wars music muted on Twitch, it seems. Surprise, surprise. Not really. So, if I was paying any attention to my Twitch channel, I imagine the Lego Star Wars series is getting muted left and right. And I'm not even going to bother to fight them, because, like, I don't honestly believe that many Twitch streamers actually get monetized on Twitch, and I'm not focusing on that right now. I'm much closer getting 4 or 5 more subscriptions to try to be remonetized on YouTube than I am to try and start from scratch again on Twitch with, I think I have like 1 follower. Twitch Prime giveaway, by the way, is giving away games, so Serial Cleaner and the Framed Collection, both available today. So just because Prime Day is over, that doesn't mean you should neglect checking every day. And Twitter has logged me out. Log in. Remember me. And then I'm gonna have to type in a 2-factor authentication code, don't I? Yeah. Let's see. Why Twitter logged me out? I don't know. It's see. I've noticed something interesting about the picture-in-picture mode that Android Oreo has. It doesn't allow you to do picture-in-picture mode if it is a video that is labeled as music, which is rather strange. I guess a strange little twist to go with, but that seems to be the case. Meanwhile, the European Union has laid down a hugely high fine against Google, claiming that the Android operating system was used to bundle people and force people into using Google search engine. Arguably, that might be true.
Tortola, preserve us!
So yeah, where was I? I was distracted there for a second. I'm trying something new on my Clash of Clans, or yeah, Clash Royale clan. As a co-leader of the clan, I lowered the requirements needed to enter the clan, and because I kept getting a lot of people that are up to the level of trophies that I'd like them to have are not used to working within a clan and what's required there, and they were not being active participants, and they were just not helping the clans. They looked like they were probably fine solo players, but playing solo and playing in a clan in a game is just different. And so one of the clan members now said, well, you should kick out all these people who are below the trophy requirements, and I'm gonna have to respond to him as like, no, I just let them in there for a very specific reason. And by the way, all these new people have actually given a lot of life and vitality to the clan, because they're requesting and donating cards, and they're trying in the clan wars, which is an awful setup, and they're not doing well in the clan wars at all. PC Gamer on Twitter has the best microphone for gaming and streaming, as usual. They do that like every month. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna lose. Let's see. Gamitsu has an article for next time for a game called Akibara Crash 1-2-3 Stage. Let's see. I guess we'll play one more game and see if we can get this. 2 more victories I can get by just playing ranked, or single player, solo player or something. I think I'm going to do that off screen. But I figure I'll scroll down Twitter while I'm here, since we're still trying to get a quest done. At least one quest done. I guess technically I only need to get one of these quests done, but I think I'd prefer to get them both done. I don't want Friday to be super long, ever. So if we can stretch out the stream today in favor of Friday, that's probably the right way to do it. PC Gamer has a game called Russian Subway Dogs. Interesting.
Job's done.
PC Gamer's putting a basically clickbait Fortnite title out. Don't need to mention that. Just they've gotten to the point where they're highlighting gamers like crazy plays in Fortnite instead of reporting real news. People don't seem super hyped about No Man's Sky next, and I think that's probably the right response. Hearthstone has this Boomsday Project pre-release parties, so if you find what are, I guess, going to be fireside gatherings near you, you can open the card packs early, which means streamers that can afford to travel to a place like that are gonna have card pack openings earlier than me. I'm certainly not gonna bother to waste any of that. Apparently the Pokemon Go developer Niantic has acquired Seismic Games. We'll talk about that on Friday and see if Seismic Games is the company I can recall the name of as far as what they do or have done in the past. PC Gamer has an article. Gigabyte is rebranding its motherboards as AMD B450 boards trickle into the retail. So I want to see this article right now. What are they renaming them? Their boards as. The B450 is probably the name. Well, that's not. It's ditching the Gaming 753 nomenclature for Extreme, Ultra, Pro, and Elite. So, what would have been called the Gaming 3, AB350 Gaming 3 will now be a B450 Azores Elite. I don't buy their gaming motherboards, so I buy their ultra durable motherboards. Which maybe that's a mistake. But I'm certainly not going to be in the market for a new Giga board for a while, if I'm lucky. Also, I was certainly in a weird position when I decided that the next game I should play is Remember Me, because I have Rage, I have the game Rage, and I have the game I should have healed that guy. That was dumb. I could have kept that guy alive. I have Rage and I have Mad Max, and since Rage 2 is kind of the sequel to Mad Max, it was going to be the sequel to Mad Max, and I could play Rage. Both of those make a lot of sense to be played. But the problem is, since I'm in the middle of trying to play Borderlands 2, it's hard to justify playing that game on top of Borderlands 2. It's just too much of the same. Gamma Sutra has an article. Amazon claims to be spiking listings for the pirated games, in other words, taking them down. New RPG maker looking game called Emily's Adventures on Steam. We'll talk about it later. I've noticed that YouTube has started pushing YouTubers to get like sponsored branding deals directly, which seems like very odd way to do this. YouTube is straight up saying they don't want the ad revenue and to be an ad-based business, it feels like, and that's kind of crazy. Like how is YouTube going to get a cut if everybody starts cutting their own deals? Let's open this. This, I assume, is the pack I got for winning a Tavern Brawl. a while ago. And it's another RPG Maker game that probably doesn't matter. Let's go in here. How much of this do I want to do? Do I want to really make the audience listen to me scroll down? Is yet another game from PC Gamer that's a Smash Brothers clone for PC. Disenchant all those. I guess it doesn't matter, really. When I'm done, I'm done. We can play a couple more games, so I guess I might as well do that now. But then once I'm done with the daily quests, we'll just end regardless whether I've covered this. So the easiest way to win here is to come over and either do a dungeon run, a Witchwood run. Let's see. Let's just continue this dungeon run. This one's a pretty decent card. And we'll take that. And then we'll just play. So as long as I win, which I probably will, a new Divinity Original Sin 2 speedrun record was set and broken and set again today. Probably by this same person or a couple people. That happens more than you would think, because somebody doing pathing research finds a new path to make the speedrun shorter, and then it's pretty easy to have a speedrunner then do a run using that new pathing mechanic once it becomes known. 3 hours ago, Hearthstone number 958 is out. I'm up to the point of scheduling Hearthstone number like 1060 something, and I've got a ton of Hearthstone episodes that do need to be scheduled, certainly. But everything else, for the most part, is where it should be. Like, everything else is scheduled, so I'm good until about August 10th as far as recordings, which is not great, certainly. I should have a lot more scheduled and be much further along in just creating content. I'm falling behind, and clearly it's so obvious. Like, every single time I get to a stream, I say, well, I didn't do anything yesterday, the day I had off. I think a lot of this is just summer heat is exhausting me. Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe a lot of steam has been lost. Like 4 hours ago, Darksiders 2 episode 49 aired on my channel. I'm not sure how far that really would be for Darksiders 2, but I am releasing it sort of at the right time. You know, Darksiders 3, I didn't know that Darksiders 3 was going to come out as early as it did, but I knew it was going to come out, so I picked a time that seemed realistic.
Rexa versus Mush Huckster Max.
Let the hunt begin.
Hey, hey! Wanna buy some fungus?
So yeah, I'm super disappointed in the level of work I've been able to do. I really don't have a solution there. This is kind of the point where I would hire a subordinate and like say, hey, I've got a lot of scheduling work I never want to do, so I'll have you do that, or I'll have you play Hearthstone so that I could, like, if I wasn't doing Hearthstone every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and doing all the news, there would certainly be more time to get things done.
That's not good.
And like 5 hours ago, Riven, the sequel to Myst, number 11, aired on my channel. So Riven is going on.
The end is coming!
And it sort of feels like just yesterday that I was recording Riven, because it kind of was. At one point, I was recording content so far in the future that I didn't even remember that I had recorded the game. And I would see it air on my channel and go, oh, did I cover that? I guess I did. So, generally when you have problems and you want to try to improve it, what you would do is you would set short, very specific goals. So for me, the right move would be to say, sometime around after midnight, which I'll still be awake at midnight.
I was right all along.
I should start playing Remember Me and try to get at least 3 recordings of Remember Me. I'm gonna try to do, I think, 45-minute episodes on Remember Me. Maybe I should do 30-minute episodes. It's a 15-hour or slightly less. My slight concern there is if I do 45-minute episodes, it'll take me slightly too. I should probably go under though, because I'm trying to have it fit right in the month of September, Monday, Wednesday through Friday. So if I do longer episodes and I'm missing just a day or two, that doesn't matter. If I'm missing like a whole week, I could probably find another game like the Joel.
That tastes like that.
6 hours ago, Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens number 20 aired on my channel. This. And this. And just go ahead and hit this guy. PC Gamer has a article how data analysis is helping Hearthstone players crush their opponents. Yep, which that's the power creep. PC Gamer also had an article talking about Snail Trek, a Sierra-style adventure game with modern twists like autocorrect and autosave. I didn't realize Snail Trek had those things, and now that I do know they have those things, I'm a little bit happier to think about playing that game. So yeah, Snail Trek. One I'm gonna go double check that I have wishlisted, although I'm pretty sure I do. I'm still not sure if I'd ever actually cover Snail Trek. It's still a text-based Sierra style game, and I still feel like those games are irrelevant in modern time, particularly for people who don't have any nostalgia. PC Gamer has an article of this Lenovo IdeaPad. Is $500 right now, so if somebody's looking for a cheap laptop, that's an option, I guess.
I already attacked.
Let's see what happens when we use the fireworks in this. I bet nothing. Still scrolling down my Twitter feed. Just seeing if there's anything. Gearbox Official says, be sure to send us your cosplay if you're planning on recreating the fabulous Sally Boyle. Sally being one of the characters from We Happy Few. Apparently, they're only interested in cosplayers doing that one character instead of the 3 other characters in the game. Which, that's weird. But I guess they haven't really announced the other characters yet, so
Mushroom power!
that's something too. Here we have Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, which is parent company is Google, retweeting Sundar Pichai, who is the guy in charge of Google, in his blog that says Android has created more choice, not less, in response to the European Union fining them. Like, the fact that the fine is so extremely high sets grounds for it to be reduced severely, but also it's so high that you could almost see the argument of Google just pulling out of Europe completely. Just like, fine, we'll not do business with you, and we're still not paying that fine. Which seems pretty much what companies can do. But it is also fair to say that the European Union has had it out for Google for the whole time, and certainly the United States politicians and politics probably did not do anything to encourage them to find in Google's favor. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I guess there's a small chance that Google pays the fine and then they pass the expense on to everybody who uses Google, or YouTubers, or something else. I wouldn't really be upset if YouTube stopped being under Google's control, because it was a better company, most people say, when it was its own independent company. Of course, it might just fold, and then there goes all my videos too if it wasn't under Google and the financing, since it's never been profitable. YouTube's never been profitable, probably intentionally, and it's, in a way, its mechanics work, its accounting has been done.
Job's done.
I'm not sure I'm gonna win this one, which then means I'll have to play one more game. Another game that I kind of am gonna play is the Walking Dead. I'll play that for Halloween. I thought for a second maybe play it in September, but no, that doesn't make any sense. I really don't want to have horror-esque games played the month before or after Halloween month. Although I do think maybe November and December could become some other kind of theme month together, like a catch-up month. Play a lot of games that are maybe more AAA-ish. I don't have a ton of AAA games, so I lost there. Whatever. We jump back in here. We pick this guy, who will be the easiest to win again with. Yeah, I'm not sure.
The burglar.
I'm not sure if I really want to do another Thanksgiving November themed game month where I try to cover games that I got for free. There's still a decent number of them to look at. I seriously doubt I'll do anything for December though. Like Christmas as a theme did not work last year at all. Let's see.
Job's done.
Rock Paper Shotgun has an article that the Crisis multiplayer is facing the axe. We'll talk about that on Friday. YouTube Advertisers has a video how to grow your brand with video according to some person. Let's just do that.
What you got?
Resident Evil series is on sale at Fanatical instead of Humble Bundle. Let's see.
Thank you.
Still scrolling down. Your Gamer has an article interesting. In addition to this Sokoban style puzzler, Jonathan Blow has been working on another game he plans to elaborate on for the next 20 years. Jonathan Blow was the creator of The Witness that took a really long time to make that game. The idea that he's got another game that he plans to spend that much time on seems silly. Also, I think I just lost. Unless he does 2 damage to himself somehow. Wow. Can't even win the easiest fight. I should put up some character. Played too fast, didn't play defensively enough. Try again. Octi nets $7.5 million to create AR tech that understands the human body. Some of these articles I'm looking at are from like 12 hours ago. I either totally missed them or something else happened. I don't think I talked about them. And they're in between other articles I definitely did talk about, so I must have just been scrolling and not paying enough attention. And see, I'm at the bottom of my Twitter feed now, so this has to be the last game. And there's literally nothing more to talk about, even sketching it out. Apparently Treyarch Studios has asked people to show off their tattoos, and they're retweeting all of that. Yep, and I am just done with news, so let's do this. And 1, 2, 3, 4, win, and we will be done. Didn't get a ton of people on chat, certainly, but we got one person. I imagine between now and Friday I might get another subscriber. I would really like to see a snowball effect just happen on subscribers, and I go from being, I guess maybe I'm at 260 now. If I could get from that to 500 by the end of the year, that'd be great. Ideally, though, I want it to be over 1,000 so that I could reapply and see if I could monetize my channel. The joke, of course, will be I'll apply after getting 1,000, and they'll still say, no, we don't think so. We don't want gamers to make money. Anyways, that's gonna be it for the stream. We've done all the daily quests. We've talked about more than enough news for one day, and I'm ready to wrap this up. The CSS on the chat seems to be slightly bugged in that the chat pops up then disappears now, so I'll try to keep the chat on the screen, but as it is, maybe that's as best as we're gonna get it, and maybe that's a better system anyways. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. When you subscribe, click the notification bell. Let's see if that actually helps anything. If you want a friend to follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below. I will take a special moment to make sure anybody who sent me a friend request is accepted on any of the accounts, my main account, America's, or the European or the Asian account. If you want to support me, my only monetization method right now is to ask people to friend me on Steam and gift me a game or a gift card, or you can look at my wish list if you want to pick a game. All kinds of varied prices there, as low as 60 cents. Some games as high as $60 for AAA games, particularly if you're getting the premium version, which if there's a season pass included and there's actual DLC, I would prefer those versions so I can actually cover the whole game and don't have to then go buy a season pass for a game out of the blue. The other thing is, if you just have Steam codes, you can direct message those to me on Twitter, and that's just as useful. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.